It is the
Okay.
8th of April. This is Rabbi Levitt, Nefesh Hahaim. Alan should be coming. He sent me an email and asked for the link.
Okay, good, great. Very nice. Okay, so there's good news today. We have gotten a hold of the Sefer.
And it's the same one I have. Great.
Mine is in Hebrew.
Yeah, in
Oh,
Hebrew, really?
Oh,
Oh, it
good.
was
You'll be our Hebrew source.
you can't
translated into Hebrew.
see it. Yeah. I can go closer with
So
it.
Oh, yeah, I can see it. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Hebrew.
which is not good for me. Maybe I can get.
Maybe it switches to English too.
You should be able to translate it.
Yeah, I've got English written on here.
Very
So,
interesting that
Rabbi, we
the,
needed to decide during during Bein Hazmanim what subject you're teaching if we only have one class.
so what sub what it's up to you. It's up to you. You want to do this Sefer, or you want to do Gemara? Whatever you want to do. We could do we could do or something else.
My preference would be Chorev, but maybe we should discuss it with Phil. When
Oh, Phil is going to be okay.
Because he'll probably
Okay.
say he's not going to come unless it's Gemara.
Oh, I see. Uh-huh. Right. Right. Um, well, 1 second. What time is my share going to be? After Rabbi first?
Yeah, like it's starting at 10:30, and then you can do 1 or 2 hours. If you do 2 hours, then we can do both subjects.
Okay. Okay, so we'll see what we'll see.
Rabbi Moore is also going to be teaching, at least for the first week. So he'll be teaching at 12:45. So if you go till 12:30, that works out nicely for me.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, so we'll see what for the first week. For the first week. Okay.
That starts tomorrow, correct?
Starts tomorrow, yes. Tomorrow is
Rosh Chodesh.
Rosh Chodesh. Tonight is Rosh Chodesh, but tomorrow is
Tonight
also.
yeah.
And Mincha is what is it? Yom Kippur.
No Tachanun.
Yom Kippur Katan.
I don't know if they have it on a Erev Rosh Chodesh that like Nisan, where you don't say Tachanun the whole
Yeah.
the whole year, the whole month. I'm not sure
Well,
what their minhag is.
Kolo next door to us is.
They're having one? Okay.
Really?
Because I didn't see any. Okay. If they're having, they're having. Okay. Could be they're having here. I just didn't pay attention. I don't always. I'm not makpid to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So all right. So what should we start today with Horeb, or should we continue one day for Nefesh Hachaim?
I say Chorev.
One vote for Horeb.
One vote for Nefesh Hahaim.
One vote for Nefesh
You
Hahaim.
always leave me in the bind, huh?
All right, hey, Eric.
Here's the game breaker.
Well, I have Horeb open already, so I'm going to go with Horeb too.
Hooray for the lazy man.
That's the reason why.
Lazy because I went to the gym last night
Hey,
and the bus was late. I didn't get home till 9 o'clock.
Hmm.
Really late for me.
okay, Rabbi, what page do you want to start on?
Yeah, so that's a big question over here because I was looking at this compendium over here. There is the translator is a very
Prolific.
respected Talmud Chacham and etc. A Dayan Grunfeld, and he has like 150 pages of introduction over here, like the how it was that the Sefer Chorev came to be written, the Hirsch's Weltanschauung, his worldview, uniqueness of Torah. We could take a look over here and see if it's something that's interesting, or if you want, we could just go straight to the Sefer. He's got a letter from Rav Hirsch, wrote to his friend about the Sefer Chorev that he's writing. A lot of introduction.
Maybe what we could do was to start with the introduction and see how it goes. And if it seems like it's dragging on and getting boring, we could jump ahead.
Yeah, I mean it's about 100. Okay. Maybe certain selected portions of it may be more interesting than others.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. He's writing this historical and intellectual background of the Horeb. It looks very interesting to me. What was doing in the world, what was doing in the Jewish world at the time of Rav Hirsch. Okay. So this is
It's the introduction of the translator. Okay.
in my edition. Oh yeah, then he writes a preface over here as well. Okay. Okay. And so let's start from the
Alan is calling me.
oh, okay. I see Alan came in right now.
Hello, Alan. Yeah, yes, yes, and you've just been let in. Right.
Now he has to show himself.
Okay. Fine. Okay. So Okay, so shall we begin with in this edition it's on they put the pages in this fancy Roman numerals or something like that. X 1X, whatever it is.
19.
9.
19, I see it.
1x is 19.
Okay.
1x.
Introduction, the historical and intellectual background of the Horeb. Okay, so who would like to start reading? Lou, would you like to start?
Yeah. Epic making books have their own history. They come into existence in particular historical circumstances and are a reaction by the author to his time and his ideological and spiritual conditions. To understand such works requires therefore an awareness of the cultural, religious, and to a certain extent political and economic background of the age in which they were written. This statement is particularly valid with regard to S.R. Hirsch's Horeb, which is not only a classical and most original exposition of the rationale and the underlying ideas of Jewish law, but also played an historic role, an historic and perhaps decisive role in redressing the balance in favor of conception of authentic Judaism as the religion of the law at a time when this conception was seriously challenged in a way which still greatly affects the contemporary Jewish scene. Until the French Revolution and the emancipation of the Jews, which followed in its wake, it was not seriously doubted by anyone that Judaism is the religion of the law. Because for the Jew, God is not only the creator of the universe, but also the universal lawgiver. In the whole of the Pentateuch, recognition and love of God find their expression in obedience to his commandments, or mitzvos. To take but one example, which is familiar to every child in Israel, the Shema. The majestic words of the unity of Hashem with which it begins, and the appeal to the Jew to love Hashem with all his heart, with all his soul, and with all his might, are followed by the solemn promise of God's protection and guidance in the personal and collective life of Israel, on condition that they hearken diligently unto my commandments, which I command you this day. Similarly, in the great farewell oration of our teacher Moshe, we find the following characteristic sentences. And now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, to keep for thy good the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, which I command thee this day. It is characteristic of Jewish history that all religious conflicts centered on the law and never on creed or dogma. But while the dissenting schools of the Sadducees and later the Karaites, in spite of their rejection of the oral law, recognized the divine origin and binding power of the written law, the leading minds of the Reform movement of the 19th century revolted against the written law and denied the divine origin of the Pentateuch. I'd like to pass the torch.
Okay. Who would like to take the torch?
Excuse me,
Go with it.
Are we starting, it's Alan, are we starting a new Sefer today or what?
Oh, Alan, good
Yeah.
morning.
Morning. We starting a new Sefer today?
Yes, Horeb.
What's the name of it? I don't have
Horeb.
it. Oh, okay. I'll have to try and find it. I don't have it. What's it? How do you spell it?
Horeb.
Oh, you don't have it. Okay.
Let me know if you can't find it and you want me to buy you one.
Yeah, please. Yeah, I don't have it.
You want me to go ahead and get you one?
Yeah, please.
Okay,
And we're set for today, Lou, right?
what?
We're set for today, right?
Yes, we're set for today, yes.
Okay.
I guess I should take over then.
Very well.
Says the legal part of the Pentateuch, which is the characteristic side of Judaism, was dropped, and only its general religious and moral ideas accepted as the core of Judaism. Thereby, the all-pervasiveness of halakha, or law in Judaism, was challenged, and a creed arose within Jewry which dangerously approximated the, I don't even know this word, an antinomian attitude of Pauline Christianity. Wow.
What is that?
Yeah, it was Reformed Judaism. They started building their temples like churches in those days. Let's see. The unbiased student of the Torah, be he Jew or Gentile, cannot help being struck by its nomism. I have to look some of these words up.
Don't know what that is.
I don't know either. That is, by the fact that it is overwhelmingly consists of legal enactments, mitzvot, which appear almost on every page of the Torah, except in its narrative parts, and that in comparison to the law, doctrine plays little part in it. This is also the explanation of the fact that the Torah, which means literally teaching, was rendered by the Greek translators of the Pentateuch by the word law. The antinomian attitude of Paulinism, though it had far-reaching consequences in the history of the world, was not of major concern to the Jew as long as it did not enter the confines of Judaism. For after all, the Gentile world, from the Jewish point of view, was not bound by the 613 commandments of the Torah, but only by the 7 Noahide laws.
The word antinomian means relating to the view that Christians are released by grace from the obligation of observing the moral law.
Wow. No wonder I didn't know what that was. Right.
Oh, so it's specifically It's a specific word in connection with the religion.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's not used in any other context, in other words.
it would seem not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good research, Lou.
Thanks.
Okay, going on. Okay, so they were bound by the Gentiles were bound by the Noahide laws. Okay, all this changed with the advent of the Reform movement in Germany a century and a quarter ago. Ever since, the inner history of Jewry evinces the stamp of this event. And to this day, the major problem of contemporary Jewish life is the submission or the non-submission of Jewry to the law of Sinai, the acceptance or non-acceptance of Judaism as the religion of the law. It has rightly been said by a contemporary Jewish thinker that there is hardly any movement within present-day Jewry which has not had its origin in and cannot be traced back to the fundamental controversy on the essence of Judaism, which raged within German Jewry in the days of Samson Raphael Hirsch, and Avraham Geiger, the chief protagonist of that historic conflict. Wow. There's a, let's see, there's a further.
Anybody know who he was?
I've heard of him, and back 50 years ago in college, I knew about him, but I don't remember now. I have to look him up on the Wikipedia.
So in other words, he was against Rev Hirsch, this person?
That's what it sounds like.
He was a German rabbi and scholar who is considered the founding father of Reform Judaism.
Really? Avraham Geiger? Wow.
Okay.
Well, that's why he's the chief protagonist, against Hirsch, because he wanted Orthodox Judaism. Right. Okay. We still have time. Yeah, plenty. Okay. There's a further point which must be made at the outset of this introduction. The revolution in Jewish thought and life caused by the emancipation of Jewry cannot be understood merely in the framework of history of Jewish thought. Account must be taken of the history of the European mind by which the inner development of Jewish thought in the last century and a half has been, for good or for evil, so decisively influenced. In this connection, there appears a dangerous phenomenon to which attention must be drawn with the greatest emphasis: the mistaken application of non-Jewish terminology to Jewish religious concepts, which has caused great confusion and which to this very day blocks the proper understanding of authentic Judaism as an historical phenomenon. This wrong terminology carried from outside into the Jewish sphere mainly concerns the key terms religion and religious ceremony, which have been quite wrongly identified with Torah and divine law. To this fundamental issue, Samson Raphael Hirsch devoted some of his most important essays, and although we shall return to this question later when we deal with Hirsch's philosophy of halakha, it is important even at this stage to quote the salient passage from one of these essays. Excuse me. Okay. The Torah is one and unique, like God, its creator. It has nothing in common with other laws, teachings, systems, and institutions. It is so unique that it can be compared only to itself. It is something that looks like Latin, sui generis, or maybe it's French, sui generis, whatever. As soon as you describe it by names and terms taken from other spheres, you falsify the essence of the Torah and bar the way to its real understanding. Wow. Well, he's right about that. Okay, so going on, let's see. It is against this historical and ideological background that an introduction to Hirsch's classic and epic-making work, Horeb, must be written. If it is to be not merely an essay on history of Jewish law in the 19th century, but is also to have a bearing on contemporary Jewish life. Samson Raphael Hirsch, and his generation grew up during a new epoch in history. This new epoch had its roots in the Renaissance, excuse me, and subsequent intellectual reactions of the French Revolution, British empiricism, and continental rationalism, the philosophy of enlightenment, and finally, the critical and moral philosophy of Immanuel Kant. And that's something else we have to look. Okay.
Well, Immanuel Kant was a philosopher who lived
Okay.
about the same time as Rabbi Hirsch.
Oh, okay. Okay. Renaissance and humanism, evolving a new type of European man, brought into existence the modern world. Hold on 1 second. Okay, maybe that will help. Okay, brought into existence the modern world with its own conceptions of philosophy and religion. I might have to give up the torch too now. It reawakened arts and sciences, its manifold inventions and discoveries. It changed political and social systems, its expansive and progressive forces. It has rightly been said that the Renaissance was in reality a spiritual revolution against medieval Christianity and its otherworldliness. It aroused a desire to reappropriate the whole abandoned province of terrestrial energy and a hope to emulate antiquity by going back to its classical sources. Renaissance and its concomitant of humanism rejected that religious philosophy, which saw the only absolute reality in the soul and its future life. It rediscovered a natural man in contrast to what Christianity called the spiritual man, who cared mainly for the salvation of his own soul and tended to neglect the problems of this world and the possibility of their solution through the study of the phenomena of nature and the manifestations of the all-embracing human mind. Wow. Now, let's see. So in the Middle Ages, the church had dominated not only religious, but also intellectual life. Christian doctrine had been the main influence, even in philosophical thinking. During the whole of the Middle Ages, especially during the scholastic period, philosophy was considered the handmaid of theology, and its task was seen mainly as bringing the doctrines of religion near to reason, to rationalize them as far as possible, and to systematize the teachings of the church, as well as to refute arguments raised against it. Now, however, European thinkers set out to create their own outlook and philosophy of life, independent of the authority of the church, and they considered their new activities as an intellectual liberation. Intellectual and economic life, society and culture now became autonomous. Religion was no longer the keystone which held together the entire social edifice, but simply a compartment within life. Sounds like it got put on the back burner. Okay. So immediately connected with this rebellion against the authority of the church and the supremacy of theology is the beginning of modern science, based as it is on the urge for free and independent inquiry. From abstract speculations on metaphysical subjects and transcendental questions questions. The human mind now turned to objects that were more perceptible, to nature and its phenomena. The spirit of free inquiry led to empiricism in natural science. The modern scientific movement began with Leonardo da Vinci, Copernicus, Galileo, Kepler, and Newton are the chief representatives. The philosophy of Aristotle, which held undisputed sway during the scholastic period, was on the wane. Authorities and tradition gave way to individualism in scientific and moral thinking, as well as economic life. The corporations, which had played so large a part of the economic scene of the Middle Ages, now yielded more and more to what the modern world called capitalism, with its individualistic competition. A new type of man arose. More than that, man was considered the center of the universe and human reason supreme. Soon, however, a marked change occurred in the intellectual climate of Europe, especially in the development of European philosophy. Enlightenment had overreached itself, and as so often in the history of the human mind, the pendulum swung from one extreme to the other. The spirit of criticism, which had undermined authority and tradition and enthroned reason, was now bringing reason itself to the bar and denying reason's authority. Wow. In the 17th century, Locke had seen the necessity of examining the problem of knowledge or sovereign reason more thoroughly than had hitherto been attempted. It was Hume, however, a century later, who drew what appeared to him the consequences of empirical view of knowledge. If we can now only hold it. If we can know only what we experience in sensation and reflection, then rational theology, rational cosmology, and rational psychology are impossible. And knowledge of God, the world, and soul is beyond our ken. It is not the empiricists alone, however, who are weighing rationalism in the balance and finding it's wanting. Protests against its supposed pretensions and results also came from the camp of the mystics, who distrusted the deliverances of the intellect and sought in other phases or functions of the human soul a means of stilling the longing for certainty. According to them, the discursive understanding can never pierce the covering of reality. Truth has its source in feeling, faith, or mystical vision of some sort. The deepest realities cannot be conceived by reason, but only felt by the heart. To many minds, the unaided natural intelligence appears to end either in a hopeless and cheerless skepticism or in a tragic fatalism that mocks humanity's deepest yearnings and renders fictitious its most precious values. Wow. Okay. I guess I can go one more paragraph. Let's see. Thus, the scene was set for the critical and transcendental philosophy of Immanuel Kant, one of the greatest thinkers of the modern world, who was rightly called the Copernicus of modern philosophy. It was he who shook European Enlightenment and its complacent rationalism. Kant saw the pressing need for an examination or criticism of human reason before a tribunal that was so secure the just claims of reason and dismiss all its groundless claims. A theory of knowledge, in other words, that should investigate the possibility and limits of human knowledge and make the human intellect criticize its own powers and see itself in the mirror, as it were, with the aim of examining impartially the human faculty of reason. Kant wrote his famous 3 critiques: the critique of pure reason, an examination of theoretical reason or science; the critique of practical reason, an examination of practical reason or morality; and the critique of judgment, an examination of our aesthetic and teleological teleological judgments.
What's that word?
Teleological. I would have thought it was theological, but it's
I
not.
think it's pronounced teleological.
Theological.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. Well, thank you, because I have no idea what that means.
Teleological. I see the word logical and I see the word teleo.
Relating to or involving the explanation of phenomena in terms of the purpose they served, rather than of the cause by which they arise.
Oh, that's interesting.
Relating to the doctrine of design and purpose in the material world. A teleological view of nature.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's not random. It has somebody planned it and designed it.
Right.
Sounds like it's okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we reached time.
That's the time, 11:30. Okay. Okay, mark it off in your books.
So we're on the bottom of 23.
Well, actually, we got to, it's all footnotes, the rest of the 23. We're at the top of 24 now.
Ah, okay.
Roman numeral 24.
24. Okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah, that was
All
all
right.
footnotes down below. Okay.
Okay, all the best there. Yashikoya.
Everyone,
Back me
have a
here.
good
Wow, that
day.
was great.
Well, I'm glad you appreciated it.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay, all the best. We'll see you soon.
Okay.